Coming up on Between Two Sterns.
At some point, we'll self-diagnose both of our ADHD, but
we're gonna bounce around to a whole bunch of different stuff.
well, you're a sports guy, I assume, because you're wearing a, I'm gonna say Atlanta Falcons shirt.
Oh no. This is actually just some generic Lucky brand.
Is this just a
T-shirt.
bird shirt? If my dad is watching this, mark that off as a moment to be proud of me. Well, as we continue to verbally jerk each other off in this,
This podcast is going to turn into a lot of things.
That's
We don't
valid.
know what the fuck it is yet.
This is Jared Stern.
this is also Jared Stern.
And
You're Between Two Sterns. Yeah.
So far, I've your editing hand has been very steady.
Mm.
Given the material you've had to work with, your editing hand's been
Thank you.
perfect.
Well, as we continue to verbally jerk each other off in this
Now listen, I'm just-
No.
And
I will
listen,
say, no, one thing that people should know watching us is, once again, this is what, the fifth time you and I have had a face-to-face conversation?
third or fourth, I was last time the third, and this is the fourth.
Well, when we recorded, it was the third conversation we've had.
Hmm.
It was the second time we'd seen each other, but then we did that kind of like catch up that we recorded and then turned it into something. But
Right.
the creative process with you has been very easy. One of the easiest creative processes that I've been a part of.
I'm doing my best not to be a dick about things, you know.
Is
And
it
I
that
even
difficult?
Feel bad, well, here's the thing, and I even feel bad because when I feel like I have an idea about this, or I have a suggestion for you about that. I'm like, listen, it's no rush. Do it when you can.
Right.
I understand we have lives, that sort of thing. But if it's like, oh, it's been a couple days or
No, I
whatever.
get it. I got to get bumped. Work has been a nightmare recently. It's
Well,
like
listen,
they
that's fine,
don't
yeah.
want to take it seriously that I have this other thing that they have no idea that I'm doing. No, but the process has been really good, and I think we balance each other out pretty well. Like there's never a thing where I'm like, that doesn't look good or that isn't good. It's just like, yeah, that's great. I feel like we each pick the ball up and move it a little bit further down.
Sure.
The sports field. I'm not a big sports guy. It's the sport, the arena.
Yes, we matriculate the ball down the field. That is some common sports vernacular.
If my dad is watching this, mark that off as a moment to be proud of me.
Is he a big Eagles guy?
He is. My whole family is.
I'm very sorry.
I speak fluent sports. People who know me think I know. I actually put on my resume for a period of time that one of my special skill sets is to be able to speak fluently about subjects I know absolutely nothing about.
It's a good skill to have.
Well, you're a sports guy, I assume, because you're wearing a, I'm going to say Atlanta Falcons shirt.
Oh no. This is actually just some generic Lucky brand.
Is this just a
T-shirt.
bird shirt?
It's just a generic bird shirt. No, it's not Atlanta Falcon. Good eye though. It
Thank
could
you.
very well be an Atlanta Falcon shirt, but no. But I like to think I'm a sports-ish guy. I had 3 fantasy football teams this season.
Okay.
Won one of my leagues and missed the championship game by that much in another league. So yeah, I mean, football is my main, the main sport that I follow. College basketball, to a lesser degree, especially now, just because everything is so fucked up.
Yeah,
with,
I mean, sports is like everything else now.
Yeah.
I find with sports, as long as I keep the conversation on the other party, a lot of people really like to talk about sports.
Oh, of course. Yeah, sure.
And I feel like I'm really good at riding the line between me, volleying your point back to you, but you not having any idea whether or not I have a firm stance one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's rough is because I'm out in California and, I'm from Philadelphia originally, just outside of Philadelphia, but I'm close enough. If I'm back on the East Coast, if I'm in like DC, like where you are, if I'm on the East Coast, then I say I grew up in the suburbs of Philly. But if I'm on the West Coast, then I'm like grew up right next to Will Smith in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like I'm Philadelphia born and raised. But yeah, Philadelphia is a city of recovering assholes. And so because of that, well, we're doing our best.
Okay.
when I run into people from Philadelphia out in California, I run into one of two types of people from Philly. Type number one is this. Hey, man, how you doing? Yeah, that's cool. What part of Philly did you grow up from? And I was like, great. The best of us get out. The other type of people from Philadelphia I run into is this. Hey, Chip Kelly, bro. That's it. And I'm like, what do you want to do here, man? Like, what do you want to do? Like, I got out of the city to get away from you people. Like, I don't want to have an argument over 4 words about your particular taste of who should be the coach, people who coach. I'm going to go with coach, not director. The coach of sport. Sports teams
it's not
coaches.
generally a director of a football team. It's not like a giant dance number that they.
But they do have managers. There's a manager, right? So there's
sure.
Okay. So
I feel like managers are more of a soccer, like an English football kind of thing.
Okay. I just finished watching Ted Lasso, so it's all
I know. Wasn't that
how
good?
good is Ted Lasso?
Really good. And here's the thing: like I run hot and cold on Jason Sudeikis.
Okay.
Like the affect that he puts on for that character, I generally have a very short leash for that kind of thing. But it's really good.
It's one of those things where I started it late at night and it was like 8:00 at night and I had nothing else to do. And it was just like all this political shit was weighing on me and I just needed something to just unplug with. And I was like, fuck it. I'm going to throw on Ted Lasso. It was slow to start. I'm on my second watch through now because usually I'll loop through shows. Mm-hmm. It's the type of feel good I needed.
Yeah, it's like, a nice, earnest feel good.
Agreed. And it has some really solid payoff moments. I really respect shows that have great like moments that really pay off. And I won't ruin it for anybody if anybody decides to watch it, but I highly encourage you to do so. The scene with him and the darts is one of those solid payoff moments that's like if he didn't win you over up until that point, then that's one of those there. And for a lot of like the anti-hero and like the dick-headed coach who like is really aggressive to his players to get the best, when the pendulum swings too far in one direction, I oftentimes find that it swings too far back in the other one. This one settled right in the sweet spot that I needed it to be in. So
yeah, I mean, and my wife had a little trouble with the accents.
Okay.
Like I think we had to put closed captioning on. In spots because some of the Cockney was a little much. I will tell you what though. So which episode is it? It's the one where they have like the date auction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Immediately after I saw that episode, I found the busker who did the music.
Oh, really?
For that episode, a guy named Cam Cole. He did a live busking album.
What is busking? You're saying that?
Yeah. Like when people would play like in the subway or whatever for tips.
Okay. I didn't know that there was a term for it.
Yeah. So he did a live album of that.
He was fantastic.
He's fantastic. The dude's name is Cam Cole, and it's on Apple Music.
One of my favorite lines of the show, and I'll never forget it because it had such a genuine reaction from Sudeikis, it was the scene where him and the assistant coach and then like the towel kid, the water kid who ended up being promoted to the Diamond Dogs. They're in there giving him advice and he's beating himself up over sleeping with the woman. And his assistant coach goes, sounds like you need to get yourself some rope. And he goes, rope for what? And the other kid picks it up and he goes, to cut yourself some slack. And Lasso goes, did you two? Because you just landed that perfectly. Like it was just one of those genuine moments that like, I like that our show has now turned into us talking about the show Ted Lasso for 10 minutes.
Hey, listen, this podcast is going to turn into a lot of things.
That's valid.
I don't know what the fuck it is yet.